Are you someone who says, I have horrible handwriting? Well, the bad news is you're probably right. But the good news is it doesn't really matter on a flip chart. If you follow these 6 simple steps, you will feel much more confident in your next presentation. One key thing to understand from the very beginning is good handwriting on a flip chart is about readability, not calligraphy. The test is very simple. Can the last row see what you've written? If yes, you're doing a great job. There are 3 things to add to legibility and take away from the legibility, and I'm about to walk you through them. This first one may sound a little bit controversial because I'm going to tell you to not use the front page of your flip chart. This is something that a lot of beginner facilitators don't know, but those grid lines, also known as crosshairs, are not for your audience to see. If you flip the flip chart around so that the logo is not visible, you will still be able to use those lines as guides to make sure that your letters are large enough, that they're aligned and everything's clean and nice, but you will save your audience the visual noise of the extra grid line. So you'll give them a feeling of a professional poster rather than a school notebook. So the next time you hang up a new flip chart book, just make sure to flip it around. The second tip is put the colorful markers down. If it's not adding to the story, it's taking away from it. Just because it's there, it doesn't mean you have to be using it. Your baseline is black ink, square capital letters, that's it. Any additional visual tools needs to be serving a purpose. Otherwise, you're just overwhelming your audience with the noise. So you can use colors to highlight something, to add contrast, or to designate a full-on separate category. So next time you pick up a colorful marker, ask yourself, which of these 3 jobs am I about to do? So remember, color is a visual hierarchy tool, so you really need to be using it intentionally. Tip number 3 is to think inside the box, just for once. Writing on a flip chart is closer to typing than to calligraphy. So think banner in a public space rather than a beautiful wedding invitation. Readability, not aesthetics. Take a closer look at the squares. Your X's, your S's, your N's and M's really should fit into the height of one of those individual squares. And there is something that a lot of people get wrong. Capital letters should not be double the size of the lowercase letter. Your capital letters, your T's, H's, your K's should have about a 30% height increase compared to the lowercase letters. This will save you space and make your text more legible. Tip number 4. Darkest ink, thickest line. To make sure that the person in the very last row can still read what you're writing on your flip chart, make sure that you pick the right markers. You have 2 options to go. You can go for bullet tip, which gives you consistent thickness of your line. Most of the whiteboard markers are bullet points. And the second alternative is the chisel tip marker. This gives you a variety in the thickness of your line, but you have to be consistent with how you're holding the marker. Don't just change the angle in the middle of the sentence. There is a reason why a lot of professional facilitators use professional marker brands. It has a huge impact on the readability of your content. So cheap markers, they will smell, they will have thin lines, they will dry out, they will scratch the paper, making those ungodly noises. That's why a lot of pros go for professional brands. My personal favorite is Neuland. They have this iconic carrot colored design, and they are refillable, both the ink and the tips, which is good for the environment and my budget. The next one is called the CSI rule for confident handwriting. We've already established that flip chart writing is more about readability, not calligraphy. And the key to readability is the so-called line confidence. So use the CSI rule to check whether your handwriting is confident. A Latin alphabet can be broken down into the 3 basic elements: a circle, an S-curve, and a straight line. So if these elements in your handwriting are confident and consistent and clean, overall handwriting will be much easier to perceive, which means the best exercise in handwriting is drawing circles, drawing S-lines, and drawing straight lines. So what we're aiming at is consistent spacing, consistent letter sizing, clean, short, simple, confident lines, and absolutely no connection between the lines. Just lift the marker from the paper. And this last one is about planning ahead. Flipchart can be a rather unforgiving tool space-wise, so it is a good idea to plan ahead. A flipchart is typically A1 in format, which is about 60 centimeters by 85 centimeters. The best news is it is the same proportions as a A4 piece of paper and an A5. And a little professional trick that I want to share with you is you can put your draft on the floor in front of your flipchart. This way, the people in the back of the room will never know that you're using a little cheat sheet. And yet another professional trick that a cartoonist once told me was to use a light blue pencil to sketch out your flipchart. Apparently, our brains blend out light blue color much easier than they do graphite. Also, it's much easier to blend out in post-production on camera. So using your light blue pencil, here is how you plan out your flipchart. The top is reserved for the title. The bottom is an awkward space to write on, and you don't usually put important things there. But what you need to remember is to leave out a little bit of buffer on the left and right. So that gives you a space that's big enough for about 16 lines of text. Remember when I said your handwriting doesn't really matter for a flipchart? Well, now you know why. Use the white side of the paper, plan your space ahead, use clean, confident, short lines, and don't create visual noise. That's it. That's the whole secret. Go make a flipchart. I'm Nina with the Workshop Method. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, and see you soon.